Hello and welcome to another edition of News Showcase. I am Priya, Tamil Nadu's first artificial intelligence news presenter. The Congress party's Priyanka Gandhi is set to run for parliament from Wayanad seat in the southern Kerala state. It will be her first run for parliament and also her first ever contest in an election. Her brother Rahul Gandhi won both Wayanad and Ray barely in Uttar Pradesh in the last election. Under Indian law, a person can represent only one constituency. Priyanka Gandhi has been the party's most prominent face, but she had been reluctant to contest in an election. A win in Wayanad, which is most likely, will give the Gandhi family a firm base in the south and north of the vast country. The Congress party already runs the governments of Karnataka and Telangana in the south and remains a key ally of the governing DMK in Tamil Nadu.
As you know, Rahul Gandhi was the sitting MP in Wayanad. The people of Wayanad elected him in 2019, gave him a 5-year mandate, and really very little he did in Wayanad. And now he's basically washing his hands of Wayanad and saying, I'm sending my sister there. Because as long as the Indian Union Muslim League supports any candidate in Wayanad, that candidate will win. That is the nature of the demographics of that constituency.
Our party IUML has already welcomed. It is a very good decision. Priyanka ji will win with a thumping majority. People will take over this proposal and definitely it will strengthen the India election.
The Supreme Court has told the National Testing Agency to be fair about the qualifying tests it conducts for candidates. The court is dealing with a bunch of petitions after a row broke out over grace marks granted to some candidates who took the NEET test in May to sign up for medical studies. Ever since, students have staged protests in different parts of the country over the controversial scoring methods and demanded a retest. Last week, the federal government said candidates who were given extra marks would have to take the test again. The National Eligibility Entrance Test is mandatory to sign up for the coveted medical studies in India, and the test is considered tough to crack. Indian citizen Nikhil Gupta has entered a not guilty plea to charges of planning to assassinate a Sikh separatist in New York City. It was his first court appearance following his extradition from the Czech Republic to the US on Friday. US police accuse him of attempting to hire a hitman to kill Gurpatwant Singh Panun, a dual Canadian and US citizen and leader of the Sikh separatist Khalistan movement. He serves as the General Counsel for Sikhs for Justice, and according to reports, the Indian government designated him as a terrorist in 2020. Prosecutors in the US claim that Gupta was taking orders from an unidentified Indian government officer, but India has denied this. Several Khalistan activists attended the hearing as one of them waved the movement's flag outside the courthouse. Rescuers evacuated the first batch of 50 stranded tourists in northeastern state of Sikkim. Heavy rains in the past week caused significant disruptions in the Chungtang area. More than 1,000 tourists were stranded after landslides and uprooted trees cut off roads. A suspension bridge in Sangklang also collapsed in the rain. The Border Roads Organization, run by the Defense Ministry, carried out the rescue and mobilized resources to restore connectivity. The BRO set up a bridge across the Teesta River to organize the evacuations. The local district administration and federal rescue teams also took part in the rescue operations, supply of food and other essentials to the tourists. The tiny state with many scenic locations is a hilly terrain and prone to natural calamities. Security forces conducted drills in Kashmir before the start of the pilgrimage to the sacred Amarnath cave. The Amarnath Yatra draws thousands of pilgrims from all parts of India, and the annual event is a challenge for the security forces. Kashmir police and members of the Special Operation Group took part in mock exercises at base camps around Mount Amarnath, where the sacred cave is located at an altitude of over 5,000 meters. The cave opens to pilgrims later this month, and pilgrims trek along the difficult and icy terrain for several kilometers to reach it. Patal is the nearest staging point, while Pahalgam is over 30 kilometers away from the cave and takes several days to reach. The governing Telugu Desam party in Andhra Pradesh has revealed that former Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy built an extravagant office for himself using public funds. Stunning images of the property emerged after the media was taken on a tour of the building on Rushikonda Hills in the state capital Visakhapatnam. The TDP claims it was built behind giant screens to hide it from public view. It said the project facing the sea was cleared by authorities as a tourist facility but was meant for use as a camp office for the former chief minister. A leader from Reddy's YSR Congress party denied the allegations and said the building was meant to host high-ranking dignitaries such as the Prime Minister and the President of India. Ahead of his first visit to North Korea in 24 years, Russian President Vladimir Putin has lauded the country for firmly supporting Moscow's war in Ukraine. Putin is expected to arrive in Pyongyang for talks with North Korea leader Jong-un. It is Putin's first trip to the country since 2000, but the two leaders recently met in September at the Vostochny Cosmodrome in the far east of Russia. According to Russian media, Putin and Kim may sign a partnership agreement and may make joint statements to the media. The Kremlin has characterized the occasion as a friendly state visit. In a statement last week, Kim said relations with Russia have developed into an unbreakable relationship of comrades in arms. The head of NATO warned that China should be punished for backing Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In an interview, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said China is trying to get it both ways by aiding Russia's military effort and attempting to preserve ties with partners in Europe. He said China was supporting Russia with key technologies used in building missiles that are used against Ukraine. Stoltenberg said talks are underway among NATO allies about sanctions on China. China has defended its trade with Moscow, claiming that it prudently handles the export of dual-use items in accordance with laws and regulations and that it is not exporting lethal weapons. Stoltenberg said the purpose of NATO was not to fight wars, but to prevent them. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute has said China's nuclear arsenal grew from 410 warheads in January 2023 to 500 a year later, and it is predicted to continue expanding. According to the research, almost all of the 2,100 deployed warheads belong to the US or Russia, and they were atop ballistic missiles in a condition of high operational readiness. The report said 9 of the nuclear-armed states, the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, China, India, Pakistan, North Korea, and Israel, continued to modernize their nuclear arsenals. It said, North Korea, Pakistan, and India are working towards the capability to deploy multiple warheads to their ballistic missiles, while the other 6 already have it. The campaigning began Monday for the parliamentary elections in France, as President Emmanuel Macron's centrist party trailed in third place in surveys. Macron abruptly called for an election after Marine Le Pen's national rally defeated his Renaissance party in the European Parliament elections. According to the most recent opinion, Macron's calculation of surprising other parties by going into the ballot with only a few weeks' notice could backfire. According to the poll, the anti-immigration Eurosceptic National Rally will receive 33% of the vote in the first round of voting on June 30th. Macron has said a victory for the left would be a financial disaster for France. Medics in Gaza said at least 17 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks on 2 of the main refugee camps in the enclave, while tanks advanced farther into the southern city of Rafah. Residents of Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinians sought safety before May, reported intense shelling by tanks and airstrikes in a number of localities. Many civilians took refuge in Rafah after Israeli forces stormed Gaza in October. The Israeli military said it was carrying out precise intelligence-based activity in Rafah, where it had killed numerous Palestinian gunmen in close-quarters battle and seized their weapons. It said that throughout the previous day, the Air Force had struck many targets all over the Gaza Strip. For the first time in almost 2 years, the primary stock market in the UK reclaimed its position as the most valued in Europe. According to Bloomberg data, the overall value of companies listed on the London Stock Exchange surpassed the total value of companies listed in Paris on Monday. The value of the LSE hit $3.18 trillion, surpassing its Paris counterpart at $3.13 trillion. Analysts characterize it as a milestone, but both valuations have since changed and are still relatively close. They claim that whereas the UK market is rebounding after several years of underperformance, the French market has collapsed due to the unpredictability surrounding its election. Before being surpassed in November 2022, the LSE dominated the European stock market for many years. Thank you for watching. I am Priya, Tamil Nadu's first artificial intelligence news presenter. Do tune in, same time tomorrow, for a roundup of the latest news and updates in India and around the world.